what are we doing while we're lifting weights? Like by comparison, the amount of weight we lift is like ridiculously low. And it would probably sort of explain why almost nobody gets benefit out of it. We should just encourage everybody to just mindlessly go to the gym and just do whatever they feel like doing, or just copy the guy next to you or ask a trainer. And it's like, okay, yeah, 90% of people quit within 90 days. They're not getting it. It's not working for them. I'm the only one with an answer. Everybody else is like, oh, just keep going. No, fuck you. No, not keep going. It doesn't work.
John Jaquish, welcome to the American Glutton Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you about lots of stuff. First of all, lifting weights is a waste of time. I want to hear about that. I want to hear about bone density. How do we increase it? There's a lot that you could go over for me.
Sure. Those are two good subjects for me, for sure.
All right. Why is lifting weights a waste of time?
Well, for the most part, we have variable capacity. So what I mean by that is through a full range of motion. I don't know how many people listen to this versus watch it, so I'm just going to
mostly. I think it's mostly listen, but you can show us also.
Okay, so if I'm going to push something away from myself, like a chest press, so at the top of the chest press, when I do it, I'm holding 550 pounds. As I begin to lower it, I go a few inches down and it's 450. Then I go a few more inches down and it's 350. And then I go a few more, it's 250. And then at the bottom, it's like 175. So it is of equal difficulty through the entire range of motion. Once I go to fatigue at the top, where my arms are almost locked out, and you don't really want to go to full lockout because you want to keep constant tension. But I can go to fatigue there and then continue at a lighter weight with a shorter range. And those are called lengthened partials.
Right.
And so the problem with static weight is it only trains you where you're weakest. Because by definition, if you can't get through the weakest part of the range of motion, you're not lifting it. So we pick the weight based on where we're weakest. But we are 7 times stronger at the point of full extension. So once you know that, it doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't we just vary the resistance so that it's relevant in all positions?
And how do we do that?
With variable resistance.
Variable resistance. And those are machines.
No, I mean it's band training.
Okay.
Or chains or whatever. I mean there are machines that have done variable resistance. In fact, MedX and Arthur Jones' first company, Nautilus. You remember Nautilus?
Yeah.
From like the 80s? Yeah.
That's a blast from the
24-hour
past.
fitness used to be 24-hour Nautilus.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted the Nautilus equipment. It's because they made you grow more muscle. Now, I mean, it was sort of like X at the bottom and 3X at the top. No, sorry. It was like X at the bottom and like 1.2X at the top, where it should have been like 3X or 5X at the top. Because the difference in your force production capability is like dramatically different from top to bottom.
Okay, so it's not resistance training is a waste of time. It's just the standard kind of static weight lifting.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Like I clearly train.
Yes. I'm looking at you and going like, this can't just be, I mean, this is not just a natural physique without some kind of resistance training.
Right. Yeah, it's all about the...
this is not plyometrics alone.
No. Plyometrics are good.
Sure.
Especially if you're training for some explosive sports. But for the most part, and the data on this is fairly clear. If you look at, like, Lifehack did a big survey last year. And it turns out that 90% of people quit their carefully planned out workout program that they decide they're going to engage in at whatever point in their life. They quit within 90 days. I mean, 90% quit within 90 days. So did they quit because they were getting great results? Probably not.
Doubtful. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they quit because they were getting nothing as a result, and they just saw it as a big waste of time. Now, I was one of those people too.
But don't you,
Uh,
doesn't, I mean, like building muscle and any of this stuff, it takes so long. I mean, I definitely was deterred numerous times in my life because I would see my main focus for the longest time was weight loss. And so I would lose weight and I saw weight loss as being pretty easy. And when I put the gym component in, I didn't see progress at the same kind of rate. And so it was super discouraging. And then when I was like, okay, this is like going to take 10 times longer to see progress in the gym versus just fat loss,
yeah,
it kind of evened out. And I got into like, okay, if it's going to take me a couple of years, and now like I'm happy to hear and I want to hear how I could speed up progress, but it takes a lot longer. It does take a long time. Like your physique is not a fast physique to build.
I mean, no, nobody. Yeah, it's the transformations you see are very often people who had a lot of muscle. They just also had some body fat,
Yeah.
and then they just dropped the body fat in like 6 weeks, and it's like 6 weeks is all it takes. No,
And it can
no,
you
yeah,
can
it
see an
goes.
amazing thing if you are hyper vigilant with protein, doing some resistance training, and you don't have that much fat to lose. The transformation, just seeing the shadows increase on your physique can
Oh
look
yeah,
startlingly different,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
I mean, I think what's a little bit distracting is when somebody who's lean and muscular puts on 5 pounds, it looks like they put on 20.
Yeah.
And so it's sometimes I have a good photo shoot, like I dieted down and I got my dehydration right, before the picture, and then everybody's like, oh my God, like what happened, did you run a cycle?
Right. Well, I mean,
No.
and that's the other thing. You got like Joe, normal guy, who's just living his day to day life,
Yeah,
and working out in the gym is kind of like watching your hair grow or your fingernails grow. You don't realize it. Like you clip your nails, and then the next time you think you got to clip your nails is just because you woke up one day and you got to clip your nails. You didn't notice them growing. And
right,
so it
you
is
didn't put it on your calendar.
right. It's a slow kind of progressive thing, and that's got to be part of why so many people fall off. But what can they do? What can they implement so that it keeps them going, so that they see progress faster?
In all the data I gathered, I had all the same questions before I wrote my book, and I'll just show people in case they happen to see this video. Weightlifting is a waste of time, is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and got anybody just listening to this, he looks insane on the cover of that book.
Yeah, I'm in better shape now than when I took that picture.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably ought to have a serious photo shoot at some point. But um, everything you're saying is good, is absolutely right. Like, people miss the consistency. Um, I spent years lifting weights and got fuck all out of it. Like I was maybe it was a bias for me. Like as I started reading about variable resistance, it was like, oh, this makes some sense.
Yeah.
And also, there's a big variability in tendon insertion points in the human body. So some people have tendon insertions that allow them to engage much more muscle when they move. Perfect example that you can just see with your own eyes is look at sprinters. All very fast sprinters have really high calves. So like people of, I mean, it's clearly people of African descent. There's hardly a white sprinter out there, right? So very high calves. So extra long tendon. So what does that mean? What is that giving us? Well, the longer tendon is a lever. And if
A
you have a
longer
lever
lever, right.
inside your body, and that lever is made out of the most elastic material found on earth, tendon. So basically, when people who have gifted genetics, when they come back and get in a stretch position of an exercise, like let's say they're lowering the bar to their chest in a chest press, they are already spring loaded to fire that back up. But you and I aren't like that. We don't have that genetics. So how do the rest of us do it? Like, it's pretty clear the guys in the NFL, they're usually identified when they're like 12, 13, 14 years old because, they're 12 years old and they're like 5'11 and 200 pounds and lean. And you're like, okay. Like,
Right.
you thought about football? You like
Yeah.
football? So it's like in the communities that these kids come from, like the school administrators, like they kind of circle the wagons real quick. They're like, this kid's going to be a star. Let's make sure he donates money to our school district. So it's like, but why is it that there's a tiny amount of people that seem to just be genetically gifted and they go on to the NFL and they knew they were going to be in the NFL from the time they were little kids? So, or maybe medium kids or whatever 12-year-olds are. But I mean, it's like awful young in life to be able to see what you have the gifts to do. And it's just crystal clear with these people. So what about the rest of us?
Yeah.
Why don't we put on muscle like that? And I really feel like the difference between most people who succeed at gaining muscle and becoming strong, you see these genetic differences. And the only exception to that, like there is a very strong exception, and that exception is Westside Barbell. So, and that's where, as I was developing the product, I kept coming back, like all the research I read, it was like Westside Barbell. Like what, like I got to learn more about these guys. So Louis Simmons, the founder of Westside Barbell,
That's like powerlifting,
right?
right? Yeah.
Yep. Well, it was. Now they do everything.
Okay.
Uh, but in the beginning, Louis Simmons knew he had a better idea. He understood a lot of things about weightlifting that others did not. And instead of encouraging universities to do studies and prove his point, he just generally felt like all those people were sort of self-important jerks or something like that.
And
Like,
he was like, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and I'll get
he
my
just said, I'm
results.
just going to break more world records than anybody else has.
Right.
So out of his one gym in Columbus, Ohio, he took local kids. I mean, 20-year-olds. I said kids earlier, and I was talking about 12-year-olds. Like, guys, like young men who were not already powerlifters. And he took these local kids and he broke more world records out of that one gym than any country on earth ever has, including the United States.
Wow.
So probably the greatest example of sports performance dominance, like just ridiculous dominance ever. And so, I mean, I studied what they did. Like, how are they doing this? They're taking regular people. I could understand if they and later on, they ended up getting people like coming to Westside, like, oh my God, I got to train here. Like, clearly, something that everybody else doesn't.
So that they eventually had his technology mixed with the genetically benefited people.
Eventually, yeah. But in the beginning, how he got to where he got, he just took regular people. And that's what variable resistance really applies best to. Like I can take a genetically gifted NFL player. I work with a lot of NFL players, usually with their strength and conditioning coaches, because I want the coaches to have the relationship. Well, the coaches already have the relationship with the players, and I never want to get in a coach's way. Like that you don't want to upset the dynamic there. So it's like I work with coach, and then I see the coach work with a player, and might give him tips or something like that. But it's like as I'm dealing with these people, they do so much better with variable resistance. But people with poor genetics do even better.
Wow.
Because they have the advantage once they go to variable resistance, whereas like the NFL players are kind of training with variable resistance automatically because that's how their body is screwed together.
So let's say
they're spring loaded at the bottom.
For the average guy who's got a membership to a big box gym, how do you implement this? Is it complicated?
Yeah, extraordinarily, which is why I created a product.
Yeah. So what's the product? Tell me.
my original plan was just to write this book and then just keep on doing like, my medical device
But then it becomes a
thing.
bestseller. People read the book and they're like, okay, well, I want to do that. And I have rubber bands and I belong to a gym, but strapping my bands onto a machine at the gym seems like not the smartest thing to do.
Turns out it's not. And
Yeah.
I've done quite a few videos of people, getting hit in the face, getting hit in the crotch. Yeah, you don't want to try and do the band thing on your own because you will do something dumb.
Yeah.
So it's like X3 is a system where all the movements were very well thought out and safe. And it's also a self-contained system. Like nobody ever throws a band around like a door. Because also a lot of people don't realize how much force you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like when I'm doing a tricep pushdown, I might be, dealing with almost my body weight. So I'm like
Right.
pushing down like 200 pounds or something like
You
that.
could break the door if you
You could
got
rip
a
the door
strap
right
on.
off your house. You could have it come fly into your face
Yeah.
if you
It's certainly
if you're
not
doing the
going
ends.
around a kitchen chair or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like so the bands hook to the bar and the plate that you stand on if the movement requires you to do that. That's it. You don't hook the bands to anything other than the parts that it came with.
And so this is a machine. Is this a machine intended for home use or is this for gyms to implement?
It's generally a home use. So extra. I mean, man, somebody should have sent me a picture of this.
They
Uh,
talked about X3, but I did not see a picture of X3.
okay. Well, like, let me just give an example for those who are watching here.
And another question with my home gym, my home gym has often been, like one bench, some dumbbells, and a piece of cardio equipment. So
Right.
there's stuff like that I always wish I could have in my home, but I never got it together to have like a leg press. With the X3, does it cover every movement I could want, or is there stuff that you still are like, no, you got to go to the gym for that?
Every movement.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't find a good picture of the X3, but I mean that's my conditioning. Like I don't use
Yeah.
anything other than what comes in that box for
All
5
right.
pounds.
So tell me about the X3 then.
Well, so you can do any movement. And you'd think I'm sitting at my desk and I designed this thing and I would have like like pictures or something like that. I mean, here I am, doing a deadlift.
That's with the X3.
Yeah. I'm holding the X3. You can see the bands.
Yeah. So is it just a bar and bands?
And a plate. So you can see here's another deadlift picture. You can see the plate on the bottom.
I get it. So it's a
Yeah.
plate you're standing on, a bar and bands.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's really simple. I mean, here's a bicep curl. And
Yeah.
you can see somebody created that little thing, put it on the
Oh my
wall.
God. So that fits easily in any home gym. This is
Oh
not a
yeah.
big
And I
piece of
mean,
equipment.
it also there's a travel case that holds all the bands and the bar and the plate that fits in a drawer. Like well, I keep my X3 in a wine barrel in my living room. So it's like whenever I feel like working out, I just pull it out of the wine barrel. It takes 10
You're
seconds.
watching TV and you could very easily be doing deadlifts, squats, anything like that with that. Oh
Well, I wouldn't
man.
watch TV.
Oh, you don't watch TV at all?
Oh well, not while I'm working out.
Right. I get it. Listen,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like
but that,
when you here's the thing that people don't understand. They're like, "There's no way you built that body just tugging on rubber bands." And it's like, okay, my deadlift is around 750 pounds at the top. I am not looking at a television while I'm holding 750 pounds.
and you can approximate 750 pounds with rubber bands with those rubber bands.
Oh yeah, here. That's you probably just asked the best question of all of them. So check this out. Like we have a version of the bar that you can see the resistance changing as I'm moving it.
Yeah.
So
I can see
the
him. He is doing a chest press with these bands, and very clearly I can see it getting easier and harder. Well, yes,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's the way a rubber band works.
Right. Right. So it's actually proprietary polymer, and the curve is not linear. It's parabolic.
Okay.
So it goes higher at the top. And now you can see I can't get to that 400 pounds anymore. This is counting how many times I go to momentary muscular fatigue. That's me, by the way. Um,
Wow. Okay. So, like, you can get to fatigue, and then the resistance automatically lets up, and you get to another level of
that's
failure.
right. So now I mean, I went to momentary muscular fatigue 6 times with a fresh muscle that's full of glycogen. You cannot do that with a weight.
Right. Yeah.
And
Because
that's why
once
it's
you hit
superior.
failure, you're done.
Right.
How did you come up with this?
Uh, it was a it was a combination. So the first thing I came up with was OsteoStrong. So it's a medical device for bone density.
Let's talk
And
about
wait,
that too, because bone density is super important. And strangely, a lot of people with obesity have low bone density,
why
which,
do you think that is?
well, listen, I oddly had high bone density, but every time I got a DEXA scan, the doctors were like, wow, you were 500 pounds and your bones are way denser than they should be. Which made me go like, well, what do you mean? Shouldn't more weight pressing down on my bones that I have to move around equal more uh, a density of that fiber? And they said, no, it's actually the reverse. When you are obese, typically you have brittler bones. But so people are dealing with that. That's a big deal.
So the everything you've heard from your physician that you just told me isn't necessarily wrong. It's just incomplete.
Okay.
The real reason obese people have poor bone density is because they don't eat anything with relevant nutrient density. So the more carbs you eat, the lower your bone density is. The more vegetables you eat, the far lower your bone density gets because of the toxic chemicals in vegetables, the oxalates. So there's a meta-analysis that details 20 different studies on this subject, and 20 out of 20 uh, show that the more vegetables you eat, the lower your bone density goes. Like, and that's not an oversimplification. That's like there are chemicals, defensive chemicals in vegetables that will damage or cause chronic inflammation and keep you from retaining minerals. So usually obese people aren't obese because they eat too much steak. They're
Right.
obese because they eat cereal and pancakes and cookies and cupcakes and all that other stupid shit.
And
Um,
are you a carb-free person?
I'm low carb.
Okay.
Like I can create an argument that my favorite meta-analysis um, really looks at like how what amount of carbohydrates do we need to replenish glycogen after a hard workout? Because like just reading about whether humans need carbs or not, usually those talking points in studies don't don't imagine that an individual does any exercise, which I think is ridiculous that we do any studies like that because people should be. But when I look at what's required, I can create an argument, and it's like I came from a place where if you are aware of the fact that the most muscular people and the people with the lowest body fat are the ones that live the longest. So two greatest drivers of long life: high level of muscularity, low level of body fat. Um, well, I mean, the diet conversation ends right there, and we don't need to even read any clinical literature about nutrition. Now, part of the reason we don't want to read any clinical literature about nutrition is there's almost no such thing as a controlled trial because you can't put people in cages and feed them what you want to feed them.
Right. You are reduced at some point to their honesty, and honesty might not even be the right word, their ability to accurately recall what they're consuming.
Right. And it's also going through the filter of the fact that they're talking to a person, a scientist, principal investigator, and they don't want to let him down.
Right.
So they're just going to lie
Right.
and
They're going
say,
to
"Oh
say,
no, I had
yeah,
1,200 calories. I
even
don't
if
know
the
why I'm
guy,
getting
yeah,
fat."
even if the guy says there's no wrong or right answer, they're going to say what they think he wants to hear.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I mean, this has also been well studied. Like when people talk to people they perceive to be in authority, they lie their ass off because they want to seem like they did better than they really did. So it's like, I mean, nutrition studies are, uh, most of them are just completely terrible because they're not mechanistic. They're just observational. So throw all that away. All we have to do is look at the physiological differences that determine how long we live. And if it's high levels of muscularity and low levels of body fat, that tells me that carbohydrates are not it.
Okay, but what about VO2? Do you do cardio?
Um,
That's another good factor in long life.
yeah, I test my VO2 from time to time, but I'm not a cardio person.
No.
But I mean VO2, if you have a high level of strength, that's going to drive your VO2 higher also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And VO2 is
And
also a hard lever to move one way or the other. And
right.
typically we'll find that the biggest movement will be weight loss. Like you will increase
Mhm.
your VO2 most dramatically just by losing weight or
Yeah.
losing excess fat. So yes,
Right.
go ahead.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, and when I look at sort of the outputs, it's like, okay, we don't need to argue about nutrition because we know what physiologically you should be more like if you want to live longer. Okay, well, now that we know that, what kind of diet gives us high levels of muscularity and low levels of body fat? There's only one. So, so primarily I'm focused on animal protein.
But you do like to replenish glycogen.
I can create an argument for 20 grams of carbohydrates a day.
20. That's the
Mhm.
max.
That's what the research determined. That's all it takes to replenish your glycogen.
And would you then suppose that because your body can store way more glycogen than 20 grams, your physique, your muscles, I would think then the body's probably turning some of the protein you eat into glycogen and putting it into the muscles.
Well, you're talking about a process called gluconeogenesis.
Yeah.
So gluconeogenesis, and there's a great study that just came out on this. Gluconeogenesis happens at the same rate whether you eat lots of carbs or no carbs at all.
So some of the protein is going to become glucose no matter what.
Usually like 2 or 3 grams a day.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it's not. It's that process is running in the background to make sure you don't run out.
Yeah.
And usually the only tissue that's calling for that glucose is the brain. Now, if you're carb depleted and you work out, what bodybuilders call flat, uh, yeah, you won't have more gluconeogenesis, but you'll feel flat because you don't have what's required, the hydration going into the muscle. It's really a lack of hydration.
Right. And would you increase that with okay, and so you're low carb, you're eating low carbs, when you say you could create an argument for 20 grams a day, are you getting in 20 grams a day?
Maybe about half the days, and the other half the days, nah, I just didn't make it.
Right.
Because I don't go looking for carbs. Like it's pretty easy to find it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I order a steak and they put some like chimichurri sauce on it. And it's like,
And you're counting the chimichurri as carbs, literally the parsley in the chimichurri as carbs.
that's right.
Wow. You are
Yeah. I
not
mean,
messing
it's
around.
it's not what we want.
Yeah.
It's not doing us any favors. So I'm pretty low. And then I basically just like weekdays, it's like almost no carbs, maybe 20 grams. Weekends, definitely 20 grams.
Right.
But I mean, there's not a lot of variability there.
No, not
Yeah, it's
much at
pretty
all.
much the same thing every day. And I try and eat the same thing every day.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been running different experiments for years. With essential amino acids. We have a product called Fortigen, which is just the essential amino acids, and just I flood the body with EAAs, and that's another thing that keeps me super lean and growing muscle. At the same time, the idea that you can't recompose your body is largely untrue, but most people are having just the lowest grade of nutrients. And like most people's primary source of protein is whey protein. Whey protein is only 18% usable by the body.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, you have two big whey shakes, which are really hard to choke down, and you have digestive issues for hours afterward. So, let's say you get 100 grams. Well, really, that's only like 18 grams that's of usable protein. Not that good.
Okay. And so you're eating eggs and meat primarily.
Eggs, meat, and then the Fortigen, the essential amino acids, that's 100% usable by the body.
Right.
So I get 300 grams of protein from that. So like, I don't even need to really eat anything because I get my protein from the Fortigen, and then I'll have like one meal a day, which is just steak. And I mean, I don't even need to really have it because I've already hit my protein target. But I do need, let's say, 50 grams of fats.
A-
That's kind of the minimum.
And how does this tie back to osteoporosis and bone density?
Well, the bone density had to do with my observations looking at how we load the body. I wanted to emulate high impact. So I want the benefit of high impact without the risks. So no fractures, none of the complications. So we get in the positions that we would normally absorb high impact. So when you walk into an OsteoStrong, the upper body extremities, the upper extremities, you're in a position like this. So 120-degree angle of inclusion from upper to lower arm, and the back of the hand in line with the clavicle. So I can either absorb or produce the greatest amount of force in that position. And so the whole experience takes place in that position. The movement might be a millimeter or two, which largely comes from the compression of bone. But I can put 2,000 pounds through my upper extremities, which is way beyond what I'm going to get in strength training.
Yeah.
And I'm right around 4,000 pounds in my lower extremities. Well, the minimum dose response for triggering bone density growth in the hip is 4.2 multiples of body weight. Even
Wow.
the world record squat, which is held by a friend of mine, it's 1,200-pound squat. He's a 300-pound power lifter. That the world record does not even hit the minimum for growing bone. However, high impact has you hitting that all the time.
So like jumping.
Right, jumping and landing. Gymnasts get it all the time. They have the highest bone density. So a lot of the observations, a lot of the data I used to derive that system was taken from peer-reviewed literature around gymnastics and absorbing impact. So the goal was benefit of impact without the risks. So it's
How do
very
you,
slow and controlled loading in very specific positions. After I went through that experience in developing this device and running it through the clinical trials, and I did that in England, University of East London, I it became very apparent to me, like, wow, I can hold 2,000 pounds here. Like, the body is so capable of so much. What are we doing while we're lifting weights? Like, by comparison, the amount of weight we lift is like ridiculously low. And it would probably sort of explain why almost nobody gets benefit out of it. Because it's like we have this attitude like we should just encourage everybody to just mindlessly go to the gym and just do whatever they feel like doing, or just copy the guy next to you or ask a trainer. And it's like, okay, yeah, 90% of people quit within 90 days. They're not getting it. It's not working for them.
right.
And I'm the only one with an answer. Everybody else is like, oh, just keep going. No, fuck you. No, not keep going. It doesn't work. Like, how many years? And I know guys who have like literally I was one of them. Went to gyms for years. I didn't want to quit working out. because I know it's good for me. But wow, I got real tired of like, 10 years of weightlifting. And it's like, I look the same, like absolutely the same. My lifts are all the same. Everything's the same. So what am I missing? What are these guys in the NFL who, put on whatever, 75 pounds of muscle, and then, they don't even care about putting on muscle once they're in the league.
Right.
It's just like, just keep them getting injured. That's it.
Yeah.
Play good football. Like, when I'm like, hey, you want to double your strength? And they're like, not really. Like, what good would that do me? So what were we missing? What about the rest of us? Is 99% of people walk into gyms, they can do anything they want to do, and they just will not grow. And I think a lot of people close to the exercise industry, close to the fitness industry, really want to argue with that because they've got this idea in their head, like, oh, we should encourage everybody, like, oh, okay. I mean, encouraging people's good, but encouraging them to do something that's not going to give them what they want is really not doing them any favors. You're kind of screwing them over.
Well, I think it's like anything, and I think weight loss is not easy, and but losing weight is a hell of a lot easier than maintaining weight loss. And so when you have that piece where you've like, I've seen this progress and then I gain the weight back, it can be tiring, it can be taxing, and the same thing goes for the gym. I think to a degree, if you're in there and you're not progressing and you're not seeing a difference, and especially, unfortunately, I think, and just to be pragmatic, most people are in the gym because they want to see a perceptible difference in the mirror. It's not.
Well, that's how we measure. It's like
Right.
how do we know our time is well spent? I don't know. Do I look any different?
Yeah. I mean, I keep fairly good track of my strength and my ability, but I'm not in there going like, well, I got 2 more reps than I did 6 months ago, and that's what's going to keep me going. That's not going to do it. I find it somewhat easier to track with cardio if I can, get, my mile speed way down over time. That's an easier metric to track. But with lifting weights, that certainly is not the component that keeps me in there.
Really?
Not, I'm saying like the component is I look better, but
I see. Yeah.
it's
It's either you see your lifts are changing.
right.
That is a metric of progress,
Yes.
or you're looking better.
But at this point,
one
I've
of
been
the two.
lifting weights since 2004, and my lifting is not really changing that much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really getting a hell of a lot stronger, or if I am, it's from year to year. It's a very, very slow progression. Nowadays, honestly, if I'm being completely real, I go to the gym because when I put myself through that, I feel better mentally
Sure.
than when I come out. But if somebody's not done it before and they're looking for physical changes, I understand 90 days. You're not going to progress that much. And then you come and then you get off of it. So I think anything to help people progress faster is super valid.
Right. Yeah, that is a good argument. Like, maybe they're not waiting long enough. Um, I would say that with variable resistance, the difference is, and I can pretty much say this. Well, I can say with evidence, I guess, because if you look at like the X3 bar users group on Facebook, there's 40,000 people in there. Most of them have really good before and afters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just tell they look like completely different people after 6 months. Most of them have told me they put on more muscle in 6 months with X3 than they did in 10 years of lifting weights.
Wow. I can't wait to check this thing out. The amazing part to
You'll
me
never
is,
you'll never train without it after you use it.
is looking at it. I was expecting, some big contraption that like screws into the wall or something like that. And this you could tuck under your bed.
Yeah, it literally fits in a drawer. My medical device, OsteoStrong, that is there's 4 machines to hit all the bone mass in the body. It's about $300,000. Like,
Right. That seems like
big,
something you're not putting in your house. You're going to a clinic to use that.
sure. Yeah, a couple people have them in their houses, but you got to have the house for it too.
And where
Um,
and that is for people after osteoporosis is set in. Yes, I mean I imagine the people
or it
who
could
have
be
it in their
preventative.
house. Right.
You could do it because you just want you want to be more fracture resistant throughout your entire life.
How do people concerned with that find those machines?
That's a great question. I'm a
Is there like a
scientist. I don't run that business,
is there a
so
database somewhere? Can they look it up? Can they find this information online?
oh yeah.
OsteoStrong, like through a Google search?
If somebody's looking for bone density, they'll find OsteoStrong.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, I think a lot of people just don't know to look at that.
Yeah.
And also, humans are very reactionary. It's like getting somebody interested in health. Uh, you know, I think most often they have to be unhealthy first.
Yeah.
Like how many people have a heart attack and then they're like, "Oh, gotta take my health seriously."
Yeah. I'll stop smoking now.
Right, right. It's like they need the wake up call.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see, though I wish I did, I don't see a lot of like 30, 40-year-olds trying to maximize their bone density while they're still uh, healthiest from a musculoskeletal standpoint, because it's a lot harder when you're in your 50s and your 60s.
Yeah, but I've heard so many horror stories about somebody in their 70s or 80s falling down, otherwise in great health, quote unquote, great health, falling down, having a fracture or a break, and that being basically the end of their life. They
Yeah.
spend 6 months in bed and then they're dead. And that seems like an awful way to go if,
Oh, yeah.
we could just increase our bone density a bit through the way we're moving and what we're eating.
Right. The statistic you're looking for is you have a 50% chance of death within 1 year of a hip fracture after the age of 50.
Right. Which is
50 after
wild.
50.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like 50's young.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the answer is it's the complications. So you can't if your hip joint shatters, it's a very invasive surgery. They got to cut your whole thigh open and put all the pieces back together, put a mesh around the bone to keep all the pieces there. Just healing up from that surgery is like crazy.
Yeah.
Like
You're done. It's
trauma.
it's not something you want to experience.
Mm-mm. No, you really don't.
Dr.
Um,
Jaquish, I have to run. I have another call, but this has been awesome. I cannot wait to fuck around with that X3. That looks amazing.
Fantastic. Send Chelsea your address and I'll send you one.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You organize this with Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Send her your address and she'll send you like a demo unit, like one we use for like photography or something.
Awesome. I'm going to do
Yeah,
it.
and just follow the instructions.
Will do. Thank you, Dr. Jaquish.